Shalom Aleichem, this is David Mami. With God's help, we're going to learn the Maamer, ואתה, Berachamecha, הרבים. This Maamer was said in Tafshin Memches and was given out as a Cuntress for Chanukah Tafshin Nun. So we're going to do the Hebrew and an English translation, a basic translation with minimal commentary, and I'll post the link below for the link on Lahak that we're looking at here. Okay, B'siyata D'Shmaya, Shabbos Parshas Miketz, Shabbos Chanukah Tafshin Memches. So with the help of God, this was said on Parshas Miketz. This is Shabbos Chanukah Tafshin Memches. ואתה Berachamecha הרבים, עמדת להם בעשרה וכולו, מסרת גיבורים ביד חלשים, ורבים ביד מעטים וכולו. So the pasuk Al Anisim says, and you with your great mercy, you stood before them at the time of their pain. You handed the strong ones into the hands of the weak ones, and the many in the hands of the few. So it's emphasized from the Friedrich Rebbe that he said this Maamer 50 years before this was said by the Rebbe. That the main part of the miracle of Chanukah was a miracle of the victory of the war that happened on the 24th of Kislev. So much so that this was the cause, the reason why they had a miracle for finding a jug of oil on the 25th of Kislev. As da'avka matzu pach echad shel shemen v'chulu u'naise boi nes v'hidliku mimenu shmone yamim. It's mentioned in the Gemara that when they overpowered the Chashmonai overpowered and they won, then da'avka specifically at that time they found a jug of oil and they made a miracle out of it and they lit it for 8 days. So if the war that they won was the cause for them to find the oil, continues and it says, "V'lama kavu haschalos yemei Chanukah b'chaf he b'kislev sheboy hayanes hanerus v'loy b'chaf daled b'kislev." Why did the sages fix the beginning of Chanukah on the 25th of Kislev, that then was the miracle of the lights, and not on the 25th of Kislev when it was the miracle of the war, winning the war? Yesh leimar d'zeh shemedayik me'amaymer hatam al shekavu Chanukah b'chaf he b'kislev v'loy b'chaf daled b'kislev. The Rebbe says you could say that that emphasizes in the Friedrich Rebbe's Maamer, the reason that they fixed the Chanukah, the celebration of Chanukah on the 25th of Kislev and not on the 24th, with the loki hadiyuk become derushin, kolagam derushim shas chalasam hi b'divra maskalzeh, madu kavu Chanukah al hanes de pach hashemen v'loy al hanes de nitzachon ha-milchama. So they didn't emphasize, like it's emphasized in many explanations, including the Drushim, the explanation at the beginning of the Friedrich Rebbe's Maamer. Then why did they fix Chanukah for the miracle of the oil and not on the miracle of the war? So the reason why this is mentioned, that the Friedrich Rebbe mentions this, ki b'drushim anal kai lehashita sha'yemtiv de Chanukah nikba rak al nes haneres. Because the explanations above go according to the Shita, according to the opinion, that the Yom Tov of Chanukah was fixed only for the lights. Therefore, the Friedrich Rebbe emphasizes that seemingly the main miracle was the winning of the war. Why did we have to make that which is tafel, the oil, the winning of the oil, that we made that the ikr? And why do we make that which is ikr, the main thing, which is the winning of the war, we made that secondary? And in this Maamer, we go according to the opinion that the fixing of the Yom Tov of Chanukah was also because of the miracle of that. It was also because of the miracle of the winning of the war. So So much so that the recognition, the thanks that we say in Alanisim, in the order of Alanisim, is mainly for this miracle of winning the war, and the recognition and the thanks for finding a jug of oil is through the lighting that we do on Chanukah. If all this, that v'lachen hadiuk b'maimer zeh hu zeh shemei Chanukah shnikbeu gam al hanes hanitzachim b'mechama v'adraba inyan zeh hu l'ch'ira ikra hanes. Therefore, the emphasis of this Maamer, of the Friedrich Rebbe's Maamer, is that the days of Hanukkah that were fixed because of the miracle of winning the war, and on the contrary, this concept is the main part of the miracle, so much so that this was the cause for how we had a miracle for a jug of oil. If so, why do we start matchilim b'chaf hei b'kislev sheboy haya nes haneros v'loy b'chaf tal b'kislev? Why do we start Hanukkah on the 25th of Kislev, that then was the miracle of the lights, and not on the 25th of Kislev when it was the miracle of the war? To summarize Aleph, the Friedrich Rebbe brings an opinion that the main miracle of Chanukah was the winning of the war, which happened on the 24th of Kislev, and was the cause for the finding of the oil, which was on the 25th of Kislev. If so, why do we celebrate on the 25th, and we don't celebrate on the 24th? Seif base. Mamshich ba'Maamer shebeneis Hashem in gufa hayu shnei nisim. Continues in the Friedrich Rebbe's Maamer that the miracle of the oil had two miracles. Haneis shematzu pach echad shemen tahor chasum bechas moishel kohen gadol. So one was, the miracle was that they found one jug of oil that was sealed with the seal of the kohen gadol. Sheneis zeh shemetzias pach hashemen hayu b'chafi b'kislev. This happened on the 25th of Kislev. The fact that they lit it for one day and the light lasted for 8 days, that's the second miracle. This miracle began on the 26th of Kislev. So it emphasizes in the Maamer, it asks a question. The emphasis that the Friedrich Rebbe is bringing is, why would we not fix something additional on the 26th of Kislev, that then was the beginning of the lasting of the oil for 8 days? So in base, basically the Rebbe is saying, not only is it a question why we don't celebrate on the 24th when we won the war, but why don't we celebrate on the 26th, that we recognized that the miracle of the oil was going to last for 8 days. Sif Gimel. When Nekudas Abir Bezeh B'Hamaimer Shahanes the Nitzchach Chana Melchama Hu Yichud Tatar V'Hanes the Mitzias Pach Shemen Tahor Hu Yichud Allah. So the explanation in the Maamer is that the miracle of winning the war is called Yichud Tatar, the lower level of the unity of God. And the miracle of finding a jug of oil is called Yichudei Ilah, a higher level of the unity of God. This that the miracle of winning the war was on the 24th of Kislev, and the miracle of finding a jug of oil was on the 25th of Kislev. Ki mispar chaf daled remez al yichudat ata keneged chaf daled ha'oisios shebebaruch shem kvod malchuso elonu va'ed. That's because the 24 hints at yichudat ata, that yichudat ata, the lower level of unity of God, is corresponding to the 24 letters of Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuso Elonu Va'ed. Umispar chaf hei remez al yichudat ilah keneged chaf hei oisios Shebepasuk Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And the number 25 hints at Yichudei Ilah, the higher level of unity of God, which corresponds to the 25 letters in the verse that we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. V'hagam de'asfakas Hashem en lem shmoni yamim shehischa b'chaf vav b'kislev chafa b'gematria havaya hu l'mayla gam Yichudei Ilah. And the miracle of the lasting of the oil for 8 days that they recognize this on the 26th of Kislev. 26 is the gematria of Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name of Hashem. And that's higher than even Yichudei Ilah, than the higher level of unity of God. So here you have three levels. You have Yichud Tata, you have Yichudei Ilah, and then you have the level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Dagam Shigam Yichudei Ilah, Hu B'Shem Havaya Echad, K'mevur B'Kama Makom Shehabitol Shemitzad Shem Elokim Hu Bitol Hayesh Yichud Tata, V'Habitol the Yichudei Ilah Bitol L'Metzius Hu Davka Mishem Havaya. So even though you're going to say that Yichudei Ilah is with the name Havaya, the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, like we say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, it's explained in many places that the bittul that comes from the name Elokim is called a bittul hayesh. A person nullifies himself, but he's still in existence. That's called the lower level of unity of God. And the bittul that comes from Yichudei Ilah, which is bittul b'metzius, that a person nullifies himself completely. That's specifically from the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. Mikol makom zeh shedichsiv bei Havaya Echad v'lo Yachid Shnei Shazayim Rikin v'Aretz v'dal Ruchis Ha'Olam Ela Shem Batelim Miyuchadim Im Alufa or Ein Sof Alufa Shel Olam Hu Lefi Shahavaya Zeh Havaya Deishtashlus Havaya Dilasata. Nevertheless, this that it's written about Havaya Echad, we say in Shema, and it doesn't say Havaya Yachid, that God is singular. The reason why it's mentioned in Chassidus is because you have the 7 heavens and the earth, and the 4 directions. So the 7 heavens and the earth is like the letter Ches of Echad, and the 4 refers to the Dalet of Echad, which is the 4 directions of the world, and all of them are completely nullified and united with the Or Ein Sof, with the infinite light, which is called the Aluf Shel Olam, the only one of the world, to the Aleph. So since Hashem is referred in the way of Echad in the verse Shema, that's because Yud Kei Vav Kei here is Yud Kei Vav Kei within Hishtashlos. So if so, that's Havaya Dilasata. That's a lower level of Havaya. V'zehu ma shekasav Havaya Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the Havaya Harishon hu Havaya Dila'ela, shelamayla mishtashlos, ובהוויה זה לא ישייך למה שהוא אחד בזין ריקין וארץ בדל רוחס העולם שהם רק יחיד ואפס זולסוי. That's why it says in the verse Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad that the first Havaya, the first Yud Kei Vav Kei, is Havaya Dila'ela, the Havaya that is above, that's higher than the Ishtashlos. And in this level of Havaya, it's simple to say that the 7 heavens and the earth and the 4 directions of the world, they are completely unique and as if nothing before him. How about the second Havaya, when you say Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the second Hashem, Havaya Habeis hu Havaya Dilasata, Havaya Deishtashlos, v'lachen shaykh boi lashon Echad. But the second one is talking about a lower level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's talking about the level of Yud Kei Vav Kei within the Ishtashlos. Therefore, it makes sense to say the wording of Echad. V'zoihi mailas hanes tehasfakas Hashem el shmona yamim shehischu b'chaf vav b'kislev chaf vav b'gematria havaya al nes the metzias pach shemen tahor. That this is the greatness of the lasting of the oil for 8 days that began on the 26th of Kislev, 26 corresponding to the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. And that greatness is greater than al hanes the metzias pach shemen tahor, than the finding of the jug of pure oil. Shanes the metzias pach shemen shay b'chaf hey b'kislev keneged chaf hey oisis the b'shma Yisrael yichudei ilah. That the finding of the oil happened on the 25th of Kislev, corresponding to the 25 letters of Shema Yisrael, which we're calling yichudei ilah. Hamshachasahu mihavay delasata havaya echad v'neis hasfakas pach shemen d'shmoni yamim d'mismar shmoni meir al b'chinas shelamayla mishtashlos hamshachasoi hi mihavay dela'ela shelamayla mishtashlos. That the finding of the jug of oil that happened on the 25th corresponds to the 25 letters of Shema Yisrael. What comes out of it, that corresponds to havaya delasata, the lower level of Havaya. That's why it says Hashem Echad. And the miracle of the lasting of oil for 8 days, the number 8 refers to that which is higher than Ishtashlos. And what draws down through higher than Ishtashlos is Havaya de La'ela, the higher level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, that's higher than the Ishtashlos. Yesh Leimar, the Zil Gam, the Bishma Yisrael, Yesh Chafei Asfan B'chinas Koi. So the Rebbe says you could say, we said many times before that whenever the Rebbe says you could say, that's his Chidush, that Shema Yisrael has 25 letters, it's the level of Koi, which is here. Even though normally the higher level of unity of Hashem, of Shema Yisrael, would generally be Zeh, this. Ki Havaya de Lasata legabi Havaya de La'ela nechshav k'moy Elokim tzimtzum. If you split up Yud Kei Vav Kei into lower and higher, the higher level, the lower level compared to the higher level is like Elokim, is like a lower level of Hashem's name, where there's a tzimtzum, there's a contraction. V'abitol di yichudi ilah shemitzad de Havaya de Lasata legabi Havaya de La'ela hu k'moy yichudatata koi. And the bittul, the self-nullification of the higher level of Yichudei Ilah that comes from a lower level of Hashem's name compared to the higher level of Hashem's name, that's not like Yichudei Ilah. Rather, it becomes like Yichudatata Chav Hei. V'aderech zeh hu gam haneis demetzias pach Hashemen shahei b'chafi b'kislev. In the same way, you could say the finding of the jug of oil that happened on the 25th of Kislev, that's considered like koi here, not this, here, compared to the level, the higher level of Hashem's name, Havaya de La'ela, and the true concept of the level of Zeh, this, is in the miracle that the oil lasted for 8 days, that we recognize that on the 26th of Kislev. That the way that came about is from the higher level of Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Havaya de La'ela, that's higher than the Hishtashlos. So to summarize Gimel, the Rebbe is saying that you have 3 levels. You have the level of Yichudatata, you have the level of Yichudei Ilah, and then you have the level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. And the level of Yichudatata corresponds to the 24 letters of Baruch Shem Kifod Malchus Olam V'ed. Yichudei Ilah refers to Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And then higher than that is the level of Havaya, just by itself. The way Havaya is higher than the Hishtashlos. And the Rebbe says that the miracle that happened on the 8 days of the oil lasting, since 8 is higher than Hishtashlos, that corresponds to this level of higher than Hishtashlos, which is Havaya. Not Havaya the way it is in the Hishtashlos, but Havaya higher than the Hishtashlos. So we're still left with the question in Gimel, why wouldn't we celebrate the miracle on the 26th of Kislev? Why would we celebrate it on the 25th of Kislev, which we do now? Sif Daled. ממשיך והמאמר דאגם שנרס חנוכה תיקנום מפני הנס שהיה בנרס המקדש וכל תיקנום תיקון רבנן כאין דאירייסה תיקון. Continues in the Maamer that even though the miracle of Chanukah, the lights of Chanukah were fixed because of a miracle that happened in the Beis HaMikdash, and anything that the sages fix or that they set up is according to the Torah, mikol makom hem chalukim b'kama inyan. Nevertheless, they're different in a couple of concepts. The behaminara should be mikdash hayazayin nerus makom amidasam b'duram yamin ve'nerus Chanukah hem shmona umakom amidasam hay b'small. That in the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash there were 7 candles, and the place where they put it was in the south, which was to the right. And the differences with the Neres Chanukah is that they are made up of 8 lights, and the place where you put them is on the left, not on the right. And the whole concept that's explained in the Maamer, that the war of the Greeks was a spiritual war, that they wanted us to forget your Torah and to remove the chukos, the irrational laws of your will, Hashem. That through this that the Greeks wanted to do, they made a strengthening in the darkness of the negative side, that the main thing that came from the negative side is on the left side. Therefore, when the Beis Chashmonai won and they overpowered the Greeks, they fixed the lights of Chanukah in order to light up the darkness. Therefore, they fixed the lights of the menorah of Chanukah to 8 lights. That 8 refers to that which is higher than the Ishtashlus that we mentioned above. That in order to light up the darkness, that's specifically through a light that is higher than the Ishtashlus. That's what it means. And Havaya will be Choshki, my darkness. That and Havaya with an added Vav will be will light up my darkness. So how did this happen? This light, which is higher than the Ishtashlus, draws down through the self-sacrifice, the Mesiras Nefesh of Matisyahu and his sons. Meaning that the connection of this light with the darkness is in 2 ways, from below to above and from above to below. How? Because of the that from below to above, that because of the great darkness that was then, there was aroused by them a power for self-sacrifice that's higher than the Ishtashlus within the person, and through this they were able to draw down the essence of Hashem that's higher than Ishtashlus. And from above to below, that through this light they shine onto the darkness, that Havaya will shine on that Havaya will be for me a light for my darkness. That this is why in the Beis Hamikdash the lights were 7 lights, and the place of it was on the right. That the light that shined in the Beis Hamikdash, since what drew down was not through Mesiras Nefesh, that was a revelation that's within the Ishtashlus. The 7 lights. And also the place where they put the menorah was on the right side. And small, and since the light of the Chanukah, they placed it on the left-hand side, it was possible that they could get their Yanika, they can get their nurturing from the Chitzonim, from the negative side, and the lights of Chanukah that were after the self-sacrifice, they became 8 lights. That's higher than the Ishtashlus. That was a fixing also to the left side. So to summarize Dalid, it's explained in the Maamer that the sages fixed the lights of Chanukah the same way as they had in the Beis Hamikdash, except for 2 differences. One was that there was 8 lights instead of 7, and 2 was that they placed it on the left-hand side instead of the right. And the Rebbe emphasizes that the reason why we had 8 is because the self-sacrifice that came from Matisyahu and his sons was what brought about the victory of the war. And therefore, we have this self-sacrifice that brings out this level of 8 that's higher than Ishtashlos. And it was placed on the left-hand side because it wasn't only there to light up the right-hand side, which is just regular godliness, but also even the negative side, the chitzonim, the l'umazeh, that which is the negative side, we put it there specifically to bring light to that which is the negative side. Seif Hey. According to what we explained in the Maamer, that through the Mesiras Nefesh, through the self-sacrifice of Matisyahu and his sons, they drew down a light that's higher than the Ishtashlus, that we're calling, in parentheses, Havaya de Le'ela, that's the higher level of Havaya. Yeshlemar shegam sheresh hanes de nitzachon milchama hu behavaya de Le'ela shelaman meishtashlus. You could say that also the source of the winning of the war was in the level of Havaya de Le'ela, the higher level of Havaya, that's higher than the Ishtashlus. So if you remember what we mentioned, we said that the number 24 corresponds to Yichud Tata. Here we're saying that Havaya de Le'ela, the higher level, that Havaya is even higher than the Ishtashlus, that's corresponding, and that's why through the Mesiras Nefesh that we had the miracle of the war. Ki ha-Mesiras Nefesh shel Matisyahu banav hayisa shehagam shehayu chalashim u'mi'atim mikom makom lachmu neged giborim v'rabim v'kivin shal yedei ha-Mesiras Nefesh shelahem l'mayla mi'ishtashlus ba'adam himshichu ha'or shel l'mayla mi'ishtashlus move on she'anes the Mesiras Nefesh the masarta giborim b'yad chalashim v'rabim b'yad me'atim nimshach ha'yedei ha-Mesiras Nefesh shelahem hu mehavaya de Le'ela. The self-sacrifice of Matisyahu and his sons was that even though they were considered as the weak ones and the fewer ones, nevertheless they fought against the strong and the many. And since through their self-sacrifice, which is higher than the Ishtashlus of a person, they drew down a light that's higher than the Ishtashlus, it's understood that the miracle of Hashem placing the strong ones into the hands of the weak ones and the many into the hands of the few, there drew down a Mesiras Nefesh through them. That all came about from Havaya de Le'ela. V'zeh shemivor ba'Maamer hu v'le'il sif gimel. Rak hanes b'hafsakas Hashem en l'shmona yamim nimshach mihavaya de Le'ela. This that we mentioned at the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maamer in the third paragraph. Or this that we mentioned in this Maamer in the third paragraph. That only the miracle of the light lasting for 8 days, you were able to draw down Havaya de Le'ela. Masha'in ken hanes de nitzachon milchama v'gam hanes de metzias pach Hashem en hem mibechenes ishtashlus yishlemar shebenisim elu hamshacha ha'isa belevushim ishtashlus k'b'lachman sifav. That this that we explained in the Maamer, that it was only the lasting of the oil for 8 days that drew about Havaya de Le'ela. However, the miracle of the winning of the war and also the miracle of finding a jug of oil that was within the Hishtalshlus, you could say, this is the Rebbe's Chiddush, that these miracles themselves, the way they drew down into being enclosed into Hishtalshlus, that we're going to mention in the next paragraph, Sivav, Aval Shorisham Hu Mehavaya de Le'ela. That was, nevertheless, their source, even though they were in the Hishtalshlus, their source was in Havaya de Le'ela, which is higher than the Hishtalshlus. V'yesh lemar, shezeu gam me'atayimim, al zeh she'me'maimer zeh, kaya li hashita de hayemtev de Chanukah nikba gam al hanes de nitzachon ha'milchama. You could say that this is one of the reasons why this Maamer refers to the opinion that the Yom Tov of Chanukah was fixed for the miracle of the war. In order to hint that the winning of the war is connected to the level of Havaya de Le'ela. This that the Yom Tov of Chanukah is the number 8, is because this number refers, like we mentioned above, on a light that is higher than Ishtashlus, and the fact that the Yom Tov of Chanukah was fixed for a miracle of winning the war, that's because also in its source, this miracle comes from a light that's higher than Ishtashlus. So to summarize Seif Hey, the Mesiras Nefesh that Matisyahu and his sons came about was that they were able to reach a light that's higher than the Ishtashlus. However, since that which they did was that they actually won the war against in a physical way, it shows that they brought about that which is higher than the Ishtashlus into a garment of the Ishtashlus. However, in its source, it's higher than the Ishtashlus. Therefore, we can understand why, according to the opinion, the Shita, according to the opinion that the miracle of Chanukah was winning against the war, that's hinting at the winning against the war also had a level of higher than Ishtashlus. Siv Vav. Ve'inyin hu the Mesiras Nefesh shel Matisyahu ubanav ha'isa zeh shelachmu neged ha'Yevanim. That the concept is that the self-sacrifice of Matisyahu and his sons was that they won war against the Greeks. V'yishleimar dezeh shegam la'achrei Mesiras Nefesh haba ha'yidei gilui ha'yechida nirgash eslam she'yishnam mineged shesarich lilchem negdoi hu lefi shegilui ha'yechida haya ba'ofen shesheich la'koiches ha'gluim de'haneshama. You could say that even though after they had self-sacrifice that came through a revelation of the level of yechida of their soul, there was felt by them that there's still opposition that they needed to fight against. That's because the shining of the yechida, the revelation of the yechida, was in a way that it was connected to their inner powers of their soul. Not in a way that it was just lofty and above, but the yechida shined in such a way that it shined onto the revealed powers of the soul. Tikasher gilu yechida hu kemo shehi b'mekoyma mikevan shebechinas yechida ein kenegda du b'maseh Mesiras Nefesh hi be'ofen she'einu choshev klal oides hamenaged. That when the revelation of the yechida is in a way that it's in its place, since on the level of yechida you don't have any opposition, their Mesiras Nefesh would have been in a way that it's not important at all that they have any opposition, because in that level there's no opposition. V'zeh Mesiras Nefesh Matisyahu ubanav ha'isa ba'ofen shelachmu neged ha'menagdim hu lefi shegilui ha'yechida hu be'ofen k'mo shesheich la'koiches ha'gluim. However, this that the self-sacrifice of Matisyahu and his sons was in a way that when they fought against the opposers, that's because the revelation of the yechida was in a way that it was connected to their inner powers of their soul, to the powers of their soul, the way it is down here in the world. L'chem gam ha'or shelamayla mishtashlus shenimshach ha'yidei ha'Mesiras Nefesh shelahem haneis demasar tegiborim biyad chalashim v'rabim biyad me'atim ha'milubush bateva. Therefore, the light that's higher than the Ishtashlus, that drew down through their Mesiras Nefesh, the miracle of the putting the great ones into the hands of the weak ones, and the many into the hands of the few, that means that miracle wasn't clothed in nature. V'yeser mizu sheteva the olam hazeh hadachtan shehaklipos govrim boy shehamenagdim hem giborim v'rabim v'sorich lilchem kenegdam. And even more than this, that in the nature of this world, that down here on this physical world, klipa is very strong, the opposition are very strong and very many, and they needed to have war against them. Yesh leimar, dezehu mashkaz be'Maamer shehaneis denitzachon milchama hu yichudat tata. You could say that it's mentioned in the Maamer, that the winning of the war that happened on the 24th, that's corresponding to the 24 letters of Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Va'ed, that we called before Yichudat Tata, a lower level of unity of Hashem. Av shekam neis zeh nimshach mehaor shelamayla mishtashlus, ki haor shelamayla mishtashlus nimshach benes zeh hayem elubash shenoisen makom metzius v'yeshus. That even though this drew down from a light that was higher than the Ishtashlus, the winning of the war was something that was much higher than the Ishtashlus, is because the light that's higher than the Ishtashlus drew down into the miracle in a way that it got enclosed to give space and to give a metzius, an existence, and a yeshus, and an actual being there, which we're calling yichud tata, a lower level of unity. In the same way of the Mesiras Nefesh of Chanukah, that the revelation of the Yechida was now enclosed into the revealed powers of the soul. הוא חסם בחוסם אינו יכולים לנגוע בהשמן שבוי ולתארי. And after they had the miracle that they went from above Hishtashlos and drew it down to be enclosed into a physical world, and they had a miracle that was within nature, they now drew down the light even further, that they found a jug of oil which was sealed with the seal of the Kohen Gadol, that they didn't have to have any opposition. There was no room for opposition, and that the jug of oil that was sealed with the seal was not possible to be touched. That they couldn't make it impure. ומכל שכן העניין דחוסם בחוסמו של כהן גדול בפנימיוס העניינים שהוא אור כזה שאין החיצונים יכולים להגיע שם כלל. And nevertheless, the concept of the jug of oil being sealed with the seal of the Kohen Gadol in an internal way, in a more spiritual way, is that this light had no ability for that which is chitzoin, the chitzonim, to have any ability to touch it whatsoever. It was a completely pure light, very spiritual light. But even this miracle wasn't clothed in nature. That the fact that they found a jug of oil, this was not a miracle that goes out of the ways of nature. Meaning that they won the war, and after they won the war, now they found the jug of oil. It was all natural. V'yesh lemar, וזהו מה שכתוב במאמר, שהנס דמציאס פח השמן הוא ייחוד אלוה, הוויה דלסתא, כי לגבי שם הוויה אין ניסנס מקום למנגד. אבל מכל מקום גם שם הוויה דלסתא הוא מקור להיסבויס. So you could say that that it says in the Maamer, that the miracle of finding a jug of oil, we called that Yichud Ilah. If you remember, that was the second level, which was the level of 25. That's called Havaya de Lasata, the lower level of Havaya, because in regards to the name Havaya, there's no room for any opposition. So you can't say the name Havaya, which was the third level, could be introduced on the 25th. Nevertheless, the name Havaya, the Lasata, the lower level of Havaya, that is the source for the creations. That is what creates the world. So we had a second level. First was that we found they won the war on the 24th. Second level was that they now found a jug of oil on the 25th. And after this, there drew down an additional light in a way that was much greater, that they shined the light for 8 days, that this miracle is not something that is enclosed in nature. It's not possible to take a jug of oil that is made for 1 day and naturally light it for 8 days. That was something that was above nature. And this revelation was Havaya de La'ela, the way it is higher than the Ishtashlos. So to summarize Sif Vav, the Rebbe says that there were 3 levels that happened here. We had on the 24th was the winning of the war, that in its pnimius, that was that the Matisyahu and his sons reached into a level of Yechida, and it was shining by them in a way that it came down into their Kochos Hagiluim. And because it shined by them, they were able to go again against the Greeks and win the war. That was the first level that happened on the 24th of Kislev. The second level, which was a higher level of light, was that they now came to find the jug of oil, which was within nature, but it was a miracle that they found the jug of oil. That's the level of Yichud Tata. That is the name of Havaya, which is within the world, within the Hishtashlos. And then after this, they found a higher level, which was the level of 26th, was that they went above nature, that the oil lasted for 8 days. ויש להוסיף, דזה שגם הניסים דניצחון המלחמה ומציאת פח השמן היה, הם מהוויה דלעילה שלמען מהשתלשלוס, אלה שנסלבשו בדרגוס. דהשתלשלוס ייחוד התתה וייחוד העילה הוא בעיקר מפני שהם היו הכנה להנס להספקת השמן ל8 ימים, נס שאינו מלובש בטבע. So you could add that the miracle of winning the war and finding a jug of oil, it comes from Havaya de La'ela, that's higher than the Ishtashlus, except that they get enclosed into levels of Ishtashlus, which we said was Yichud Tata, which was winning the war, or Yichud Ilah, which was finding the oil. That's mainly because they are a preparation for the miracle of the lasting of the oil for 8 days, which was a miracle that was above nature. That these miracles by themselves are mainly on the level of Yichud Tata and Yichud Ilah. הנה לאחרי שנייסי בוי בהפך שמצאו נס והדליקו ממנו 8 ימים, על ידי זה נמשך גילוי הווי דלעילה שלמעלה מהשתלשלוס גם בהנס למציאת פח השמן וגם בהנס לניצחון המלחמה. That through the miracle of winning the war, that was a reason, a cause for the miracle of finding a jug of oil that we mentioned at the beginning of the Maamer, that after this happened, that they found the jug of oil, there was another miracle that they lit it for 8 days. That through this there drew down a revelation of Havaya de La'ela that's higher than the Ishtashlus, also into the miracles of finding the jug of oil, and also into the miracle of winning the war. Meaning, in this Yesh Lahoisif, the Rebbe is adding that the whole cause of winning the war, the whole reason, the way we won the war was to end up finding the jug of oil and end up finding that the jug of oil was going to last for 8 days, which was higher than the Ishtashlus. All of that happened, if you look back, even from the 25th, they had that energy. Se'if Zayin. וזהו שקבעו הסחלסים מחנוכה בכ"ה בכסלו, שבוי היה נס הנרס. כי השלימוס של הנס לניצחון המלחמה שהיה בכ"ד בכסלו ייחוד התתה הוא שמגלים בו על ידי נס השמן שגם הוא הנס לניצחון המלחמה שורשו הוא למעלה מהשתלשלוס. That this is why the sages fixed the beginning days of Chanukah from the 25th of Kislev, that represented the miracle of the lights. Because the completeness of the miracle of the war, of winning the war, that happened on the 24th of Kislev, which was called Yichud Tata, is that we revealed in it that through the miracle of the lights, that also the miracle of the war in its source was higher than the Ishtashlus. So the whole purpose was to show that it's higher than the Ishtashlus. V'av sheyesh mailas the Yichud Tata al Yichud Ilah, וישלוים בדזהו מה שהנס לניצחון המלחמה היה סיבה לנס השמן, והסיבה היא למעלה מהסובב, that even though you have a greatness of Yichud Tata over Yichud Ilah, and the Rebbe puts in brackets that you could say that this is why the miracle of the winning of the war was the cause for finding the oil, and the cause is always higher than the effect. Nevertheless, the completeness of Yichud Tata is that there should shine a light and a revelation of Yichud Ilah. That's explained in the Maamer, in Frierdiker Rebbe's Maamer. And the reason for this, that on the 26th of Kislev, we don't say that there's any novelty at all. That's because the main revelation of Havaya de La'ela, which corresponds to the 26th, that's going to be in the future. Kinor shel Yemei Mashiach shel ches nimin, ma she'ein ken bebeis hamikdash he'ir rak gilui דהוויה דלסתה, שלכן כינור של בית המקדש היה של זין נימן, והגילוי דהוויה דלעילה שהיה בהנס דהספקס השמן היה רק לפי שעה, בהשנה שבה היה הנס, ולכן לא יקרבו בכ"ו בכסלו יחדשו איזה דבר. The Rebbe is answering the question now why we don't start on the 26th. And he says the reason for this, that on the 26th day of Kislev, there was a chidush, is the way that it's explained in the Friedrich Rebbe's Maamer, is because for a limited amount of time, there was a revelation of Havaya de Le'ela. And that revelation is going to be always in the future. That what's going to happen in the future, that at the times of Mashiach, there's going to be a harp with 8 strings. However, in the Beis Hamikdash, there was only shining a light of Havaya de Lasata. That's why the harp in the Beis Hamikdash was made up of 7 strings. And the revelation of Havaya de Le'ela that was in the miracle of the oil lasting for 8 days was only for a limited amount of time. That it happened in that year when the miracle happened. Therefore, the sages did not fix it on the 26th, because there was no chidush that happened then. It's something that was in the future. So to summarize Zion, that the Rebbe is basically saying the reason why the sages fixed it on the 25th is because the way that Yechida came down was that it revealed itself down in a way that it's what caused the miracle in a way of Hishtashlos. That because of the winning of the war, therefore we found the oil in a natural way. However, the fact that the miracle of the oil lasted for 8 days, that was something that only happened once, which was that year in Chanukah, which was that year that happened in the Beis Hamikdash. Therefore, they didn't fix it on the 26th because we're not ready for that time yet. That's going to be in the future when we're going to reach higher than Ishtashlos. Seif Ches. Biratzon sheyikuyam banu inyan zeh de'amadta lehem be'esarasam dekai al klalus inyan hagalus shu hatzara hachi gdola. May it be Hashem's will that it should be fulfilled by us, this concept that He stood by us at the time of their pain, which refers to the general concept of the exile, which is a pain of the highest levels. And the Rebbe puts in a long bracket, Dagam shekavar avru kol hashmadois v'lo hiyu oid that even though we've already passed the whole times of the conversions, like it's mentioned by the Mittler Rebbe, by the second Rebbe, that it's not going to happen that the enemy is going to oppose a second time. Kevan shekvar dai b'mashe avarnu ad ata v'achshav hakol hu v'toiv v'azraba oid b'zman hagalus mikayim b'chol echad v'achas mi'Yisrael v'hayu melachim and since there was also enough in what passed all the way until now, and right now is only good, and on the contrary, that in the times of Galus we're going to fulfill by each and every Jew of what it says in Isaiah, that it says that the kings are going to be your servants, and the queens are going to be the ones who take care of your children, that they nurse your children, showing that the nations of the other world are actually helping the Jews, as we see this happening right now. It's explained in the Gemara that this concept was in actuality at the times of the Shas. וגם כשנדמה שיש איזה בלבול הרי הולכים בדרכו של אברהם אבינו, היהודי הראשון, שבראויסו נהר ומעקפו מלקיים ציווי השם, עבד בתוקף ולא נספעל, ואז נסגלה שלא היה לזה שום מציאות אלא הוא דמיון בלבד. And specifically that the Malchus, meaning the kingship, is going to come and help the Jews in the ability to learn Torah mitzvos, that also that it seems that you have some sort of bilbul, some sort of blockage in the way of going, like the way of Avraham Avinu, who was the first Jew, that he went across the river and he fulfilled the command of Hashem, that we stand in a strong way and we don't get affected by this, that then it's going to be revealed that there's not going to be any metzius, except there's not going to be any existence for these confusions. It's only going to be a dimyon, just an idea only. Nevertheless, to end this bracket, we're still in galus, in whatever galus it may be, and the fact that we're in galus, that is a tzara, that is a big pain. So the Rebbe says, in regards to our request that we're making in the days of Chanukah, so the request that we're making, that Bikar of Mamish, that it should happen speedily, Mamish, that he should stand by us at the time of their pain. And since it says B'chol Sarasam Loi Tsar, for him it's a pain, him with the letter Vav, it's for sure that Bikar of Mamish, that immediately HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take out the Jews from the exile. How do we know? That it says that Hashem, your God, will return your captives. Then it doesn't say the Heishiv, that he will return, but it says that he himself will return. So much so that Hashem is going to return himself when Mashiach is going to come, that then we're going to praise his great name, and we're going to light the candles in the courtyard, your holy courtyard, in the third Beis HaMikdash, that it says as a Mikdash Adonai, the Mikdash of Hashem will be established through your hands. Maybe this happens speedily.